Once again, greetings to you in the matchless name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So, this is the third week that God has enabled us. So, past 2 weeks we have been meditating on different topics, and this month, in this third week also, we are looking forward for God. It's not I who speak here. I'm just a medium, but it is God who speaks to each and every soul. Because I see your face, I see your appearance, but God sees your heart. So it is God who is able to capture your thoughts and minds today. And though we are few in numbers, I will always tell this, though we are few in numbers, like Israel, so they were very few among all the nations. But through them, God did great wonders and miracles. So I believe that it is, of course, 1 year passed. So God is bringing in people, and He's working, and there is success in everything when we commit everything into God's hand, and He will be glorified in His timing and in His will. He will reveal His wondrous work. So today we are going to look at. So basically, we look at many things. We meditate upon many things. We really read a lot of things from the Bible. In your personal readings also, you would have gone through many verses, many chapters. So today also, so for preachers and for any people of God, we have only one guide. So that is Bible. We don't follow any other book. We don't follow any substitute book for Bible. No, we have only one book. Whether it may be the believers or preachers or pastors, evangelists, missionaries, everyone has this one element, one book. From this book, everyone speaks. So if you're working somewhere, so if you want to put the seed of God inside of them, put the love of God inside of them, you need to start from the Bible. When preachers preach, they cannot start it from somewhere else, some other books, some other authors. Everyone has this Bible, and so this Bible, it speaks to each and everyone's situation. So it is God who is about to speak to us this morning. So today we are going to look at many things, and we are going to meditate it with the help of God. I believe that God will teach each and every one of us, though some passages or some verses may be difficult. So this English service is not just new to you, but also new to us, new to me also. I'm learning a lot of things from this. I believe that God is also teaching each and every one. So each week, we learn new things. So I personally got benefited in this English service. So God has taught me, He taught me many things. I believe that same God is working in all our lives. And we all have a lot of questions, right? In life, we all have a lot of questions to ask. We always think about certain questions, and for few we would have got answers, but for other things we'd be thinking, we would be working out, we would be expecting some answers. So we come and ask into our minds, into ourselves, can we do this or can we do that? So will that be good, will that be bad, or will that end up in this situation, or can I do this? Can I make this move? Can I ask this? So a lot of things that we ask daily, right? Before you do a job, many questions come in our minds. Can we do this? Will anyone get benefited out of this? Will this help someone? Or will this thing that I'm about to do brings danger in my life? So we are intentionally or unintentionally or aware of all these questions day by day. So I personally noticed one important question that every Christian asked me personally, or they ask to each other, to the pastor. So there are a lot of questions in life, but one particular question for today's meditation, when I see this, I came to know that many people asked the same, or still now ask the same question every day. So the very often question that people ask is that, can we get anger? Can we get anger? Is it right or not? This is the very good question, of course. So can we get anger, or is it right to get anger or not? Because looking at the situation, many times people never control their anger. So it just comes out like a rushing wind, like a storm, like a wave. It hits another person. So the most popular question among Christians today is that, can we get anger? Is it right or wrong? This person is doing like this for a very long time. This company or this institute or this believer is troubling me a lot. So I'm just silent in all my times, but I won't be silent in every time. So there will be a time when I will show my anger to them, but I don't want to show that anger to them because they will be offended. But someday or the other, that will come, you see. Wait and see. So people tell all these things to others. So first, I thought this question, is it right or not? Can we get anger? I took this question very lightly. Okay, it's your problem. It's up to you to whether to get whether to get angry or not. But slowly, I also started to ask myself, is it right? Is it good or not? Can we get anger? So I noticed several things from the Bible. The Bible is the only guide which teaches the truth. So if you go and ask a friend, can I get anger and is it right or not? What is the immediate answer from them? Yes, you can get anger. Even if you get the opportunity to slap that person, slap. Hit that person, hit. So these are the ways and methods that people outside teach us. So they sometimes don't know. They think that that reply or that beating or slapping back is the answer, right answer. But we need to look at from the Bible, from the biblical perspective we need to look at. So I noticed several things which Bible contains. So before that, we see a person has many emotions inside of him. God has not just made a man like a robot and placed him in this world, and everything is from God. So whether he needs to open his mouth, intake the oxygen, he need not ask God, Lord, today can I be happy? So you cannot go and ask all these things. So God, what he did was that he placed emotions inside of man. So he placed all the feelings, or all the feelings that you and I have today is from God. We don't realize that. We tell to others, it's something that the situation creates. Emotions are not things that situation creates. It was created by God. You see, Jesus wept. Jesus, he smiled at the crowd. He had compassion on the crowd. Once he saw a poor person or a sinner, his heart was after him. So Jesus also had emotions. So each and every human has this emotion inside of him. It's like an inbuilt system which God placed in every people's life. So a lot of joy comes, happiness comes in good times. In bad times, we feel sad, lowly, sorrow, tears coming out, and sometimes anger comes out. And many times, a lot of changes happens in our mind. So this mind and heart, it contains a lot of emotions and values and feelings, and there are a lot of things. Now I have just noted some 5 to 6, that's it. But there are a lot of things, lot of emotions that are inside, and some can be told outside, some cannot be shared outside. So today we are going to look about anger. And before that, an anger brings out the true nature of a person, right? When a person gets anger, that's where we can see his original or the true value or the nature which is inside of that person, he or she. So in all our inner actions and thoughts truly comes out, it truly reflects only when a person is in anger. So when a person is in a joy condition, when a person is very joy and he has very happiness inside of him, he may fake that, right? I can act before you as if I have joy inside of me. So like smiling outside doesn't mean I am really happy inside. So you all are blinking and some smiling doesn't necessarily mean that you all are happy inside. I can fake my emotions, I mean my appearance, my facial expressions as if I have joy and happiness inside of me. So the true value, the true nature doesn't come out when I am in a state of joy and happiness. But while coming to anger, you cannot fake that anger. You cannot hide that anger, angry moments or the angry emotions. You will take that inner feeling and bring it out. So no person can hide that when he or she is truly got angry on someone, true nature reveals. True nature comes out. So I cannot fake, you cannot fake that. You cannot act as if you are angry, but you can act as if you are joy and happy and smiling on things. So we see a lot of things. So of course anger is an emotion set in a person by God. This emotion is also set by God. Don't always think that anger is from the devil and only good things, only things that we assume good is only from God. Anger is also an emotion set by God inside each and every people. Now we might think, if anger is not good, why then did God place them on a person's body or mind or heart? If anger is a sin or anger is not good in a person, inside of a person, then why God did create that emotion inside of a man? So when we hear this word anger, we always see it in a negative shade. Once a person is angry, we picture it, we paint that person as a negative person, right? So we assume, we have been taught in a way that from the childhood, hey, that person is very angry, don't go near to him. People used to tell, right? People used to tell, our parents used to tell, our teachers used to tell, hey, that person is very angry, so don't go near to him. Because we always see this anger, this emotion in a negative shade. So because anger arises from a person, we put that person in as a bad person. So when anger arises from a person, what you and I would have seen is they will be beating someone, they will be abusing someone. They won't have a stable mind. Sometimes I have seen people on the roadside, when they get anger, they won't even realize that that's a road, that's a common place, we need to behave in this way. So there are a lot of children's coming there. So they will be talking unparliamentary words, bad words, and they used to mock at people with bad names, call other people with bad names. So this anger, when it comes inside of a person, he or she, when it gets to the peak, they won't realize the outcome of that anger. So it's like a blind flow. So simply they will get anger and do things without even realizing what the output is. So sometimes we cannot hear such a person. People are in your friends circle, when they get anger, you cannot even stand near them. So that much furious their anger will be, that much worse that he or she will become. So coming back to the question, can we get anger, is it right or not? In the biblical perspective, the question is somehow a complicated one. It's a complicated question. So it's not in the white side or the black side, it's in the gray side. So we need to always look at the Bible to get the answer. So we will see about this in a little while. We will definitely look at this. The Bible teaches us several things on this. So it clears our doubts today, and I believe that it will clear our doubt. So in the Bible we see a lot of incident that talks about this topic, anger, deals with this anger. Particularly from the New Testament, we can draw out one incident that God has kept for us today to understand, to meditate today. So before that, in the New Testament, we see Jesus, this central figure. He goes to the temple. One day he goes to the temple. What he had in his hand? He had something in his hand. He went to the temple, inside of the temple, but when he was about to enter, he saw the money changers putting up the table before the church, before the temple. And they were selling money exchange. They were selling money. They were selling dough, sheep, and things, burnt offering materials. So what these people do is that Jews were scattered all around the world. In 722, Assyrian came and they invaded the land of Judah, and they separated the God's people and mixed God's people throughout the world. So even in Calcutta also we have Jews who have come a lot of years, thousands of years before. So in each and every country there are Jews who lived here. It is done by the Assyrians when they destroyed the temple of God and scattered the people of God all over the world. So in such times, Jews were scattered all around the world. In Europe, what we call today the countries, in every country Jews were there, scattered. So one of the laws of Jews were they need to offer sacrifice to God, to Yahweh, to their God. So the 10 commandments on the other commandments tell that you need to, if you have sinned against God, you need to do this prevention. You need to do this thing, this offering, you need to submit this offering to God. So once in a year, these Jews used to visit the temple which is in Jerusalem, a temple that was built by Solomon, the great king. So they used to carry a lot of food, the water, the essentials, the fellow servants and other people. They used to travel from their country to visit Jerusalem. Similar to the Islam friends today. They travel to Mecca, which is a pilgrimage to them. It's a holy land to them. Same like that, in that time, in ancient time, the Jews all around the world, they used to visit this temple in Jerusalem, God's temple, as a pilgrimage. So it's a holy trip to them, holy journey to them. So they used to carry the sheep and dough, what all the things that it is required for the offering, they used to carry. They used to carry the money to put the offering. These people in Jerusalem, especially in the temple, in the temple courts, what they did is that people coming from outside, they will stop them. They will tell them, no, your coins, your money, your currency will not be valid in this temple. You need to exchange it with our money. You cannot simply put your country's money in this. So they had the money which is valid in that country, that place. So with an interest, if you give 10 rupees to him, he should give you the same amount of money. But he will take a charge. He will take 10 rupee, 2 rupees extra. So it became a business for the people who were there in the temple courts. So when you and I, or the Jews before that, if they bring a lamb or a goat or a bull, any kind of sacrificial things, they will stop that. They will tell that, no, your goat or your sheep is blemish. It is fault. See its appearance. It's not good. You need to get our bull. We have a lot of bulls. So these people were not in a good mind, they were in a business mind. So they had a lot of sheep and goats and sacrificial animals. They stopped these Jews from the other countries. They said, no, your sacrificial animal is blemish. It has some defect inside of it. No, this won't be valid inside. So you take this, you give it to us. We will give some other goat, good ones, and you need to get ours for this amount. So these people were always focused on the money. One day Jesus, he couldn't tolerate his anger. So he just went inside the temple courts, looking at these people. Because these people were preventing God's people from serving God, from the presence of God. They kept the law before them. If you need to get ours, so that will be holy. What all you bring that are unholy. So Jesus, he managed to control his anger, but one day he took the whip and he went to the temple and he he turned over the tables and he poured the money out and turned everything upside down. See, he got angry. Got angry on the people who did that. Because he told that this is my Father's house. It is a house of prayer. It is a house of holiness, and you have made it a den of thieves. You have made it a business place. This is not a place where you make your business. He told, mind your business. You go out of this place. You do something else. So don't prevent the God's people who are serving here, who come here. Don't prevent them. Allow them. So his anger just changed that whole scene, whole incident there. By taking up this one incident, what our people do is that, see, Jesus himself got angry. So it is good for me also to get anger. So Jesus as a role model, he himself has this whip inside in his hands, and he turned the tables around, and he scattered everything. So I will also do that same thing in my life. This is useless unless we learn its context. So for what reason Jesus did that? We always have a reason. If Jesus did this, so he's God. He's all-knowing God. He knows that after 2024 years in Good News AG Church, in this English service, these people will be meditating on this. So he sees the end from the beginning. So he really knows that you and I will one day meditate this. So he was very aware of his actions. So he was very aware. It was not an accident that he immediately took that. No. He already know that these things will happen. I'm going to do this. These people will meditate. I need to be a role model for them. So this action of Jesus was not a negative thing until we see this verse that clears us our doubts. Which is that Jesus got angry on the people in the temple. The same Bible tells that, it also says, do not sin in your anger. Do not sin in your anger. We see a great role model of Jesus here. He got angry but did not sin. That's where he stands apart from other people. See, do not sin in your anger. So in Tamil, what it says, Kobam seidalum, pavam seiyade, which means if you are in a state of anger is in your heart, hold it up. Do not sin. We see Jesus did not go and beat anyone, right? Do we read anything like that? He took the whip, that's it. He turned the tables, but he never bet anyone. The verse, it clearly says, he never placed his hands upon anyone. So it shows that he had the zeal, the feeling of God, the Father, inside of his heart. He was like, why do you make such cruel thing, this business inside of God's temple? So that anger is a positive because he did not sin. So we see Jesus got angry but did not sin. So anger is not a sin until you and I use it in a right way. Anger is not a sin. It's an emotion given by God. So an anger is neither a positive or a negative emotion until we use it. We need to choose whether we should use this anger in a negative way or whether to use this anger in a positive way. So God has given us the choice to use it wisely. So anger is a feeling given by God to us in our hands to utilize it in a right way. So don't think that anger is a negative emotion. It's a positive emotion. But with the wisdom of God, when we use it right way, it makes sense. It makes a new lesson for others. So God has given us the responsibility to use it rightly. So if we get anger, so it is right until we use it in the right way. Let us turn our Bibles to John 18. John 18, the Gospel of John, 18th chapter, verse 2 to 11. I will read that for you. Now Judas, who betrayed him, knew the place because Jesus had often met there with his disciples. So Judas came to garden, guiding a detachment of soldiers and some officials from the chief priest and the Pharisees. They were carrying torches, lanterns, and weapons. Jesus, knowing all that was going to happen to him, went out and asked them, "Who is it you want?" "Jesus of Nazareth," they replied. "I am he," said Jesus, and Judas the traitor was standing there with them. When Jesus said, "I am he," he drew back and fell to the ground. Jesus answered, "I told you that I am he. If you are looking for me, then let these men go." This happened so that the words he had spoken would be fulfilled. "I have not lost one of those who gave me." And the 10th verse and 11th verse, we will meditate it a little later. You see, the background of the Gospel of John, today's meditation, 18th chapter, verse 2 to 11. Jesus came to this earth to save, to serve people in a godly way, to call them to the salvation, to the repentance, and make them to go into heaven, to give them salvation forever. So Jesus' last moments in life, he was about to get caught. He was nearing to his death. So in such a state, we see all the mission and ministry of Jesus got over, and everything that the Father has placed on the shoulders of Jesus, everything was about to get fulfilled. And Jesus was nearing to the last mission, to the very last moment. And that last moment was the cross. So cross was the only mission pending for Jesus. And soon that mission will also be fulfilled by Jesus himself. But before that, something important, very important happened there. So when we see Jesus and his ministry, he never worked alone. He had disciples. 12 disciples accompanied Jesus wherever he went, whether for teaching, for miracles, for sharing his word, to distribute food to the hunger, to the poor. Everywhere these disciples were, all together with Jesus. But one disciple was not as like the other 11 disciples. Who was that? One disciple was extremely opposite to the other 11 disciples. Can you guess who betrayed Jesus? Judas Iscariot. So he had 12 disciples, but Judas was a different kind of breed. He was a different person. He was a different person when we compare it to the other 11 disciples. So he was also a disciple of Jesus. There is no doubt about that. He also saw the miracles of Jesus. He also was there when God distributed the foods to the poor people who came to listen to his word. So all the time when Jesus did miracle, all 12 disciples were together with him. But Judas, though he saw Jesus' miracle, wonders, though he knew that he was from the Father, he was not good till his last time. So in the Last Supper, he was also a partaker of that. He also, so Jesus placed, he told a person to arrange the tables and everything was done. And the grape wine was there before them. The bread was set before them. So it was the last communion service for Jesus on the earth. So he called the 12 disciples very close. So Jesus had a lot of disciples, 140 plus at that time. So the closest circle was this 12. And among this 12, he had another close 3. So he did not call up every disciple. He did not call up everyone. It was not a common invitation. It was an invitation for the 12. So the 12 came to the room and they broke the bread. Jesus broke the bread, gave it to each and every person, and he gave the wine to every person. And the 12 disciples were also there. Among the 12 disciples, who was also there? Judas, who was about to betray Jesus, was also present in the same communion. He was also present in the same fellowship. He also had this communion, the grape wine, the grape essence, and the bread that Jesus gave, he very well know that I am about to betray this Jesus soon. Why I need to participate in this Last Supper? Anyhow, I am going to show this man to the soldiers. No, he planned it wisely. He thought that if I do not participate in this Last Supper, so people or the disciples, the fellow disciples will know the secrets. They will anyhow come to know that I am the betrayer. So that thing must not be revealed to the others. So he was also clothed in the wolf wool, on the wolf cloth, and he was also a partaker of the Last Supper. So we see as soon as Jesus gave the bread and wine, he ate it, drank like the other 11 disciples. Immediately we see his heart was about to betray Jesus. So he planned. Satan entered into Judas, which means Judas was waiting for the end of the Last Supper. He was actually waiting. When will this communion get over? And when will I get the prize from the top level? When will I get the 30 silver coins? And when will this, today also a lot of Christians, they wait for the end of the service. When will this pastor finish off this sermon? I must go home and I need to have this biryani. I need to have this food. So I need to go to this hotel. So when will this service get over? So similar to that, Judas was literally waiting. As soon as the Last Supper was over, Satan entered Judas Iscariot. And what he did, he took 30 coins from the Pharisees, and he gathered the troops, the Roman soldiers. He told, okay, I know all the actions of Jesus. I know where he will be in this time. I know his moment. Even if you go in the dark time, in the night time, I can easily show you who Jesus is. So he has seen Jesus throughout his life. So he very well know the shadow of Jesus. When we see, right? When we see a friend, when we go to a hometown and see a friend or any friend in the night time, his actions and his posture, his walking style, we will recognize, hey, this is my friend. See, he is coming like this. If he dances like this, or if he walks like this, then this is that person. We will identify like this. The same way, Judas Iscariot planned very wisely, thinking that it was a wise plan. He planned it wisely, and he collected the soldiers, the troops, and he went where Jesus was. So Judas was like a GPS map to these Roman soldiers. So he told, no, soldiers, if you go alone, you would arrest somebody else, unknowingly that that person is Jesus. There is a chance that you may miss the original Jesus. Wait, I will come and guide you. So he was actually a navigator or the GPS instrument to the Roman soldiers at that time. So Jesus went to the Garden of Gethsemane. So his final moment, he was preparing himself. Judas, on the other hand, he was preparing another thing. So two preparations going on. Jesus finally went to the garden and he started to pray. He started to pour out his tears before Father, and he prayed before God, Lord, if it is possible to take this cup, please take. But not by my will, Lord, it is your will. So whatever the path that you have kept for me, allow me to walk in that path. So he prepared in this way. On the other hand, Judas, he prepared a troop and he called them and he gathered, and Jesus was praying with tears. Judas entered with the soldiers. With the Roman soldiers, he was nearing, and a time came, they met Jesus. So verse 2 and 3, it says, the actions of Jesus, it says very clearly that, now Judas, who betrayed him, knew the place of Jesus, because Jesus had often met there with his disciples. So, Garden of Gethsemane was not a new place for Jesus. So, it is not like Jesus, okay, I need to pray, this is my last hour. So, anyhow, they are going to crucify me. I need to look at some place, okay, where? Okay, this garden is, it is simply there, put there. I need to enter. No. Very often, Jesus met with his disciples in the same garden. Garden, not in the sense as we see, like a crotons, like things, but it was an empty place with lot of plants, like a boundary. So Judas very well knows this place because Jesus, while he prayed, he also prayed with his disciples in the same garden. That is why Judas very well know that I know for sure in this tree, under this tree, or under this stone, or under this plant, he will be. Because he watched where Jesus prayed, he watched where Jesus poured out his complaint, where Jesus taught to his disciples on that garden, and he very smartly took the soldiers. So Judas came to the garden, binding a detachment of soldiers, and some officials from the chief priests and the Pharisees. They were carrying torches. See, torches, lanterns, and weapons. 3 things that they carried. Torches. GPS was inside of them. Judas was inside of them. Then why they need the torches, weapons, and the lanterns? Why? Judas was with them. He was the guide for all the Roman soldiers. He very well knew the place of Jesus, the mark of Jesus. It was the same garden where Jesus took his disciples before. Then why did the soldiers carry the torches and the lanterns and the weapons? Can anyone guess this? Why? The place was before them. They exactly 100% he know that Jesus was there. The reason why the weapons and lanterns and the torches were taken is that Jesus must not even have 0.1% of escaping chance. If the torches won't work, use the lanterns. If the lanterns won't work, use the weapon. He must not run away. So the soldiers and Judas made sure that Jesus must be caught. So there must be no plan B or C. So no alternative plans. One plan, one execution, that's it. So it was a very pre-planned work done by Judas. So conversation with Jesus happened there. Jesus, he was a prophet himself. He is God himself in a human form, human flesh. As if Judas doesn't know anything, he goes to Jesus like the same, like the previous times. He makes conversation with Jesus. He would have asked Jesus, Jesus, how are you? Just now we saw in the Last Supper, it was good. So as if Judas doesn't know anything, he acted and called up the soldiers. He would have marked the soldiers, you stand here. This is where Jesus used to walk. So be there. You be on the top of the tree. If Jesus runs, go behind him, chase behind him and put him down. So a conversation was made and Jesus very well knew who was the one who betrayed him. He asked, who is it you want? As if Jesus doesn't know anything, he asked the soldiers, who are you searching in this garden? Which means the garden was not some 10 to 10 garden. It was a very huge garden. Jesus acting before them as if he doesn't know anything. He asked, oh, you Roman soldiers, you have come here. For what reason you have come here? For whom you are searching? And they told, what they told? We are searching for Jesus of Nazareth. They do not know that they are speaking to the Jesus of Nazareth. They are telling to him that we are searching for Jesus of Nazareth. And Jesus does not tell that, no, he is there inside. Go there and see him. No. He doesn't tell all the fake things, or he did not lie to them. He said, I am he. I am the one whom you are searching. I am Jesus of Nazareth. And who is it you want? Again they asked. Jesus of Nazareth, they again told, thinking that this fellow is simply joking. So how could Jesus of Nazareth talk to us like in this way, very calmly, very coolly? These people did not believe. And once again they asked, once again he told, yeah, I'm he. I am Jesus of Nazareth. And they told, things happened and Jesus was about to get arrested. All the soldiers, they confirmed, because in police or in any military things, people or the soldiers or the police cannot simply encounter a person, He or she, that police, they cannot simply go and have an encounter with them, kill them. They need to confirm the person. They need to confirm the location. They need to confirm the person's activity, name, everything. And only the 100% of confirmation is done, only then they will execute, or only then they will shoot out things. The same way, same thing happened. Everything was confirmed. They were about to arrest Jesus. Suddenly one disciple popped out of nowhere. Suddenly he appeared before them, jumped before them. We see 10 and 11th verse that Simon Peter, who had a sword, drew it and struck the high priest's servant, cutting off his right ear. The servant's name was Malchus. Out of 12, one fellow betrayed Jesus and was standing with the soldier. Other 11, we don't know where they were placed. This fellow, out of nowhere, came out. He took the sword which were with him. He struck down the high priest's servant's ears. His ears fell down on the floor. So it's a very uncommon incident, and only one incident like this happened in the whole Bible. Cutting off the ears of a high priest's servant. So what made Peter to do this? Why this happened? Why Peter, though he very well know that these are Roman soldiers, they will take away my life if I do any wrong to them, even after knowing that the high priest were the very high positioned people in the society, they can take away Peter's life anyhow with the help of Roman soldiers. But Peter never hesitated. He never looked at all this outcome of that trouble, simply took a sword and he cut off the ears of Malchus. So really, I thought, why this Peter did this? What is the reason behind his action? And really, I can tell you that I found no answer in this. Really, I also don't know why this fellow jumped out, why this fellow cut the ears of Malchus. I also don't know. One thing, it may be the zeal for Jesus. One possible answer. But I also 100% don't know why this Simon, who was silent at that time, till that time he was silent, he simply took a sword. I don't know where he placed the sword ready, took and cut it. So Peter got angry. One thing, he had zeal on Jesus. The topmost answer is that he got angry. He got furious on the person. Maybe on the soldiers or maybe on the high priest's servant. Peter got angry. See, look at his action, what he did. He had a sword. He drew it. He took it from his pouch, struck the ear of the Malchus, the servant's, high priest's servant. So we cannot justify Peter's action here, right? Though Peter is a saint later, became a saint later, though he is a disciple of Jesus, I cannot tell that the action that Peter did was right. No. It was a wrong action done by Peter. I cannot justify. No one can justify Peter's action on this. So Peter's mind, we see, what made Peter to struck the ear of Malchus is that, one thing, Peter got angry. The aim that Peter made was not for the ears. Peter did not aim for Malchus' ear to be cut. His aim was to strike down that person, to kill that person. So when we see the rowdies and people, rogues, they used to have marks all over the body. Because in some fights, they would have got that wounds. The opponent party, they were not there to make mark on that fellow's body. They were about to kill, but it was just missed by that person. The same way, the cutting of ears, Peter did not intentionally want to cut his ears. He wanted to really kill that person, kill that high priest's servant. For that reason, he took his knife, but unfortunately, he missed the mark and he slashed the ears of Malchus. See, even though Peter traveled along with Jesus, even though Peter heard the words of Jesus, forgive your enemies, and a lot of things, even though he saw the miracles of Jesus, he took the knife from the flint and he about to struck the high priest's servant, but he missed. So it slashed the ears of the Malchus. So we see Jesus' reaction here. 11th verse, it teaches why Jesus is called Son of God, Son of the High Father. Why he is called God of grace, mercy. We see Jesus commanded Peter, Peter, put your sword away. Peter, put your sword away. Put what you have in your hands, put it away. He told, shall I not drink the cup the Father has given me? He told that these people, you think that these people came accidentally. These things happen here accidentally, unknowingly, but this is the will of the Father. I must undergo all these punishments and shame and death. I must undergo this. Put away the sword, Peter. We are not here to make violence. We are not here to bring out the anger and show it in a negative way. We are here for peace. You see Jesus' action here, his patience. One same place, Garden of Gethsemane, teaches two things: the anger of Peter, the patience of Jesus. Same place, different action, different lesson to be learned. Peter, he immediately got angry and struck the ears. Jesus, he told Peter, this is not the way you behave with high priest servant or any people. Put the sword away. Sword is a tool to defend yourself, not to offend others. So you have made a blunder, you have made a mistake, Peter. Put the sword away. So the difference between Peter's action and Jesus' words is that Peter used anger in a negative way. Jesus at that time brought patience. He calmed the situation. So to conclude this message, what we understand from this, till now we saw Judas, Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, Peter, Roman soldiers. For what we are meditating all these things, we have a purpose for our meditation. So, we see patience teaches great lessons than anger. Patience teaches us more lessons than anger. Two important things that we learn from the silence of Jesus. The Roman soldiers and Judas betrayed Jesus, and Jesus was in trouble. He himself was quiet. Peter reacted too much there. As if the Roman soldiers and Judas betrayed Peter, he acted like as if they want to arrest Peter. He went before and did the wrong thing. See, the person who was to be blamed, Jesus was to be blamed by the Roman soldiers. So they came here to blame Jesus and to take Jesus to the high priest, to the courts, and to kill him. They came to Jesus, but the reaction was from Peter. You see, two important things Jesus' patience teaches today. Patience silences the problem. Patience, if Jesus would have got angry, if Jesus would have gotten angry, the whole earth would have burnt. The whole Garden of Gethsemane would have burnt with God's fire. He can bring the fire of God down upon people. He was quiet, he was patient there. So it was Jesus who was supposed to bring out his anger, but he was silent there. So patience silences the problem. But Peter, we see, he never had this patience. Simply took without understanding, without knowing the outcome. So if Peter was with some other person, Peter was the first person he would have been crucified. People would have crucified, the Roman soldiers would have crucified Peter for attempting a murder. So it was Jesus who did not get angry on the betrayal, who did not got angry with the Roman soldiers. He taught patience even in the time of arrest. Number two, patience solves the problem. First, it silences the problem, which means it makes calm the moment, and it solves the moment. It solves the problem. If Jesus was not patient in that time, anything could have happened. He would have missed the mission of the Father. Instead of going to the cross and fulfilling the desires of the Father, he would have become like a rowdy or like a famous person who was against the Roman soldiers, like Barabbas. He would have got a name like Barabbas, standing against the Roman government and doing things. He was patient. He did not reveal his anger. Though anger is a neutral thing, God used it, Jesus used it in a patient way, in a good way. So think before we act. We must always think, what we are about to do. So we must think before we act something. So because if Peter would have done a mistake with somebody else apart from Jesus, that's it. Malchus' ears would have cut, and that Malchus would have lived and died without ears. Since it was done standing along with Jesus, Jesus immediately he did a miracle there. So patience teaches a lot of things, and we need to think before we act. So not all anger helps us. See, Jesus got angry at the temple. Why can't he get anger with the Roman soldiers and Judas? Same person, at the temple he had a different intention, and here he had a different intention. So remember, do not sin in your anger. That verse, do not sin in your anger. And today's title is that patience teaches more than anger. Patience teaches more than anger. So if you have anger, have patience also. When we use anger in the right way, it shows us people that to whom we belong to. Showing anger is not sin, but while in the anger, what I do I take my sword and slash someone's heart, someone's emotions? Do I do things that is against God, against His word? Do I hurt anyone with my words, with my anger? We need to realize all these things. So patience teaches more than anger could teach us. Let us look to the Lord in prayer.